windows. Apparently, we lost the shot there from Sky 9, but I can tell you the CHP is now behind this pursuit, and we are going to continue to follow this story here on KCAL 9 News. Do we have that shot back? Okay, we don't have it back. All right, we're going to continue here, bring you that live story as soon as we reconnect with Sky 9. Meantime, 9 women have come forward to accuse Chef Mario Batali of sexual misconduct. And now the New York Police Department confirms there is an ongoing criminal investigation into Batali. Some of Batali's alleged victims are speaking out. One woman told 60 Minutes about her experience at the famous New York restaurant The Spotted. Batali stepped away from his business empire this past winter. Well, for more than a century, Britain's Norland College has been training professional nannies. But now, in addition to childcare, students are learning about terrorism, security, and how to avoid high-risk situations. Terry Okita takes us to the school in we're going to go back to the pursuit now. We apparently have reconnected with Sky 9. This is a pursuit, again, happening in the Corona area. We have a black Camry there going at a high rate of speed. I believe we have Sergeant Darren Wyatt with the Anaheim Police Department, where this pursuit originally took off, on the phone. Sergeant, are you with us?
Hey, Juan, I'm with you.
All right, what's going on here? Can you tell us? Fill us in?
Yeah, about 12:10 this morning, an Anaheim Police K-9 unit was in the area of Harbor and the 91 freeway. He ran a license plate on this black Camry. It came back as one lost or stolen license plate, which is a common tactic when people will cold plate stolen vehicles. They'll steal a license plate from one car, put it on the stolen vehicle. He initiated a traffic stop on the vehicle. It fled. Pursuit ensued. Quickly got onto the 91 freeway. We pursued it with the assistance of the Orange County Sheriff's Department helicopter Duke 1 out until it left the county line. At this point, we've relinquished control of the pursuit to the California Highway Patrol, as you can see from Sky 9. They are continuing the pursuit eastbound the 91 freeway in the Corona area as we speak.
Yeah, Anaheim Police Department still stay as an investigative partner with this? Is this your case, or is it now just handed over to the CHP?
Yeah, we've completely relinquished control at this point to the CHP. If at the termination point of the pursuit, it's discovered that there's some type of a crime that occurred in the city of Anaheim, we will then go back out there. But we're actually not even trailing the pursuit at this point. We relinquished complete control to the California Highway Patrol. So
basically, this car was somewhere, you said, near the harbor in the 91. They ran the plates, and what happened? The plates just didn't match to this, looks like a black Camry?
Well, the license plates that were on this black Camry actually were reported as one lost or stolen plate. So somebody had stolen one of those license plates, placed it on this vehicle, and therefore we believe that this car is actually a stolen vehicle that was what we term cold-plated, which means a license plate from another vehicle was placed on it.
So somebody may have reported this black Camry stolen. Whoever stole it switched out the plates to delay the actual the obviousness of this car being stolen, right?
That's correct. And a common trend is they'll take the front license plate where somebody doesn't normally see it. So it may go for a period of time before somebody discovers that the license plate's missing from their vehicle and report it stolen. And that's what delays the discovery that the car is actually stolen. Right.
So now the CHP is in pursuit of this black Camry. Looks like it's going at a pretty swift pace.
Yeah, when he was going through Anaheim, he was about 60, 70 miles per hour in light traffic. It does appear that the speeds are a little bit higher than that now, but the traffic does appear light still. You can see Highway Patrol is maintaining a safe distance. Anytime we're in a pursuit like this, our primary concern is public safety, and then we always weigh the seriousness of the offense versus the risk to public safety, and right now they seem to be in a good spot.
Right. Do you know if any Anaheim police officers came in contact with the driver at all, or by the time that they tried to pull him over, the driver took off?
My understanding is that there was no contact whatsoever. The K-9 officer ran the license plate from behind the vehicle as it was traveling. It came back as a lost or stolen plate. He attempted the traffic enforcement stop, and the pursuit ensued immediately.
And I'm curious about something, and I'm sure some of our viewers are too. This car was, again, somewhere near the 91 in Harbor, And does this canine officer just randomly scan plates, or just, just doing their job, just seeing what's going on, and they got a hit? How does that usually happen?
Yeah, it's just good police work on the part of the canine officer. He's in an area, he sees a vehicle. Camrys are a very high target vehicle for stolen vehicles. It's got dark tinted windows. He can't see inside. He runs the license plate. It comes back as lost or stolen. So it's just good all around police work on the part of the canine handler.
I've heard Hondas are also pretty popular too. Why the Camry, you think?
I don't know exactly why they're so popular, but they are. As you said, Hondas are too. So a lot of these foreign-made cars are very popular with auto thieves.
So, Sergeant, we're looking at this pursuit unfolding. You said it started around 12:10, so we're about 18 minutes into it, and still in the Corona area. And as you can see there from our picture of Sky 9, traffic right now is definitely working in this driver's favor. Not a lot of traffic in front of him right now, and it looks like he's staying on the freeway, which, as you were saying, when it comes to public safety being paramount for officers involved in these high-speed pursuits, it's a good thing for at least right now that he's staying on freeways.
Well, especially with the conditions on the freeway as they are right now. It's light traffic. He does appear to be going faster than some of the flow of traffic. It's not like he's whizzing past cars left and right. So it seems to be fairly controlled at this point. Again, the Highway Patrol are experts at these pursuits on the freeway. You see it almost every day in Southern California, and they do just a tremendous job.
And, Sergeant, did you guys get any rain out there today? Because I know if the streets are slick, that's another problem as well.
It is. I have not seen any rain down here this morning. It was a little bit misty this morning, or drizzly early this morning, but everything's dry right now.
All right, so CHP is now in pursuit of this driver in a black Camry, possibly a stolen car. Apparently, there was a license plate switch. What happens now? At least, I know you can't speak for the CHP, but can you give us an idea? They will continue to follow this car up until when? I mean, he may be crossing into different counties and different areas, different cities.
Yeah, our peace officer jurisdiction extends statewide, especially with the Highway Patrol here. So if it goes from one Highway Patrol office to the next, they can certainly transition to their next office, depending on where it goes. Obviously, we will continue until the point that it either becomes too dangerous to continue to pursue, or the pursuit is terminated, whether that's through a pit maneuver, use of spike strips, the driver runs out of gas, he crashes, or just gives up. And at that point, then they'll evaluate that. Many times there could be other crimes involved. While we believe it's a stolen vehicle, we don't know what, if any, other crimes the suspect who's driving the car or the vehicle have been involved in. So that investigation will take place once we identify the driver and get to the end of the pursuit. And
in this case, Sergeant, with the fact that the license plate doesn't match the car, it may be more difficult to just pull away and find this driver later, because we don't know where this car would belong, right?
Correct. And even if it was just a straight stolen vehicle, we would be in the same position. We might not be able to track down the driver because we don't know who he is at this point. So it's important to get to the termination point of the pursuit, identify the driver, find out what the criminal history is and any other activity he's been involved in at this point. Yeah, it looks like now, Sergeant, that we are near the Riverside area. So quickly moving, I believe, still on the 91 freeway there. Traffic very light, and as far as the sergeant's telling us right here, this pursuit apparently is going to continue. This is a Camry that was possibly reported stolen or stolen at some point, and whoever did that switched the license plate of the stolen car with another plate. So basically, those plates do not match to that Camry right there. But you can see the CHP still in pursuit, a pursuit that started in the Orange County area. Officers near the Harbor and the 91, simply doing their job, ran the plates, and it came back to either a lost or stolen plate. So somebody reported their plate simply lifted from their car. They called police, and this canine officer doing their job was able to get a hit, saying that, yes, indeed, that this was a license plate that did not belong to that car. And when they tried to pull this car over, the pursuit ensued, and that's what we're looking at right now, happening near Riverside, still, I believe, on the 91 freeway, and you can see they're going at a pretty brisk rate of speed there. Now, Sergeant, when an officer rather, tries to pull one of these drivers over, is it, a beep, a horn, lights go on, or is it just simply
an officer trying to speak over the loudspeaker? How would a stop like that happen normally?
Well, it's a standard traffic enforcement stop, just as if we're pulling somebody over for a normal traffic violation, running a stop sign or expired registration. The officer will activate his overhead emergency lights. And California state law says that if a vehicle has a forward-facing red light that is activated, the driver of any vehicle in front of that needs to pull over and yield. When they don't, then we activate the siren, and then it becomes a pursuit. And that's what occurred in this case here. So anytime an officer goes to make a traffic enforcement stop, they'll activate their overhead emergency lights, and that is the signal for the driver in front of them to pull over. If they don't, and now we activate the siren, we're now considering it either a failure to yield or a pursuit. In this case, it's obviously a pursuit because it's gone on for a considerable distance here.
And obviously this driver definitely knows that the CHP wants him to stop and definitely get this to wrap up safely so that no one is hurt. All right, Sergeant Darren Wyatt, we appreciate your time. I know that this pursuit started in your city of Anaheim and now into the Riverside area. So we thank you for giving us such great insight on this pursuit. All right, we want to now go also on the phone with us, Chuck Griffiths, retired sergeant from the Riverside Police Department. Sir, this pursuit now headed into your old stomping grounds there.
Yeah, it looks like it's growing right down the 91 freeway, coming up on 14th, it looks like now.
Now, we have the CHP in pursuit of this car. It looks like he may be getting off the 91 here. I'm not quite sure what exit. Oh, no, he decided not to get off the 91 freeway. Can you give us an idea now that the CHP is in pursuit? This is the 91 freeway. I mean, how far can he go?
91 freeway actually turns into the 215 if he continues northbound. If he wants to go east into Moreno Valley, he'll go on the 60, or he can go west on the 60 back towards L.A. I know they've got Riverside CHP units taking over, and they've got their CHP helicopter, and I think Orange County's helicopter was over it.
Gotcha. So basically Orange County handed it over to Riverside CHP, and they're now the ones in pursuit, right?
Correct, and as they go from area to area, CHP will hand it off to fresh CHP units.
Now, in your opinion, with your many years of work, is it best that this stay on the freeway right now just because there's less to worry about regarding pedestrians or intersections and whatnot?
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot safer. Everybody's going the same direction. You don't have the cross traffic, so you're not going to have that opposing traffic that's going to cause a major crash if he gets in the middle of the intersection when other cars are going through. And traffic this time of day is pretty good on the freeway.
It sure looks it. And the 91 basically does connect Anaheim to the Riverside area, so it's not surprising if he is trying to get away that he would at least follow this route here, because you're wondering if this person lives or resides in the Anaheim area, that he would at least stay in this. It looks like he's just trying to get away, period.
Yeah, it just sounds like he's picked a freeway and he's staying the straight course.
In your opinion, what do you think might happen here? Is this just going to continue going till either runs out of gas or he gets pit maneuvered or the spike strips come out? What do you think might happen here?
Yeah, they're not going to pit maneuver him at this speed.
Okay.
Obviously, the spike strip would be the best help. It's difficult on the freeway because he's staying close to the center lanes. Plus, you've got other traffic to worry about. You don't want other cars running over the spike strips. So there are options just to follow at a safe distance and wait for his car to give up or for him to give up. Yeah,
last week we saw a pursuit where the spike strips really came in handy and blew out the front right tire. And we also saw a pursuit the week before that where the driver had just gotten onto an on-ramp of the freeway and he was going slow enough, and they were able to do the pit and bring the pursuit to a successful end. It really does, whatever is chosen really has to deal with the circumstances, right, of what's happening at the moment.
Exactly. And obviously they got to plan ahead with the spike strips. If he's continuing on the freeway, they may be able to set up somewhere ahead of him. Pit maneuver if he gets off the freeway on an off-ramp and he's slow enough, they'll go ahead and do that.
But as we see here, traffic is going rather, it's very light right now.
Yeah, that's kind of unusual, but sounds like luck of the draw for him. So he's actually on the 215 now northbound from the Grand Terrace area, I believe.
And just like you said, that was one of the options that he could have taken, the 215. For our viewers, can you give us an idea? The 215 would head into what areas?
Well, the 215 connects the 60 freeway up to the 15 freeway in Devore, and he's got options of the 10 freeway before he gets to that, and then the 210 freeway, either east or west.
And Chuck, have you ever spoken to some of these pursuit suspects once they actually stop? Why they choose to keep going? I mean, we all see how these end. At one point or another, it does come to an end, and we have a suspect in custody. What have they told you?
Well, usually they start out in this pursuit. They say they were scared, and they start out, and once they get going, they're committed, and they don't really think they can back off and give up. So they just they chose their destiny once they start going. But the best thing for him to do right now is just pull over, give up, and take his consequences.
Indeed, and at this point there are consequences. Is there ever a chance where, if he started a pursuit, 2 blocks down the line, he decides, okay, you know what, I'm just going to stop and say I never really saw the police behind me? I mean, is there ever a case like that where, the charges would be less? I mean, he's facing a serious charge if this is a stolen car,
Yeah, obviously now he's seen all the police cars. He's got the helicopters over him. There's no way he's going to say he can't, or he didn't see the police helicopters, or they hear the sirens or see the lights. If he'd stop after 2 blocks, he could say, yeah, I didn't notice them, and sorry I didn't pull over.
Right.
But, this thing, he's obviously trying to evade arrest. So.
Mm-hmm. And we are looking at a serious situation. This is a pursuit started right around 12:10 this afternoon near Harbor in the 91 in Anaheim. A canine officer was simply scanning some plates, saw this dark Camry with very dark tinted windows, and decided to, scan the plate just as a routine procedure. And it came back with a lost or stolen plate. That the plate on that car was reported either lost or stolen, which makes them believe that this car was also stolen as well, and the plate was switched out so that they could get an opportunity to to evade police. It looks like they are approaching, I believe, the 10 freeway. I'm being told there, still the 215 near the 10 freeway. Anyways, the Anaheim Police Department gave chase for a while, turned it over to the Orange County CHP, and now we have the Riverside CHP handling the situation there. On the phone, we've had Chuck Griffiths, retired sergeant with the Riverside Police Department, giving us some interesting insight right now. Right now, we're seeing the driver kind of move around a little bit. He's hitting some heavier traffic, Chuck.
Yeah, a little bit. He's going to have to. He looks like he has to jockey for position a little bit, but and it usually slows down up in San Bernardino around the 10 freeway. And then again at the 210. But if he continues past the 10 and the 210, he'll go up into the Devore area. And
Devore, at this time of day, you'd probably also find that there's very little traffic in that area, right?
Yeah, I think earlier it was pretty foggy, but it's probably raised up or cleared up a little bit now. But yeah, the traffic going up the hill usually is pretty heavy. Yeah.
Are you watching Sky 9 right now? Can you see our live shot?
Yes, I can.
Has he made it past the 10 yet? Can you see him? We see just another CHP officer there in the median just joined the chase as well.
Yeah, I think he just went past the 10.
All right, and there's a big interchange right there. Do you recognize that one?
Yeah, that's the 10 freeway.
That is the 10 freeway. Okay, so he has passed the 10 freeway, still staying on the 215, and as Chuck... Okay, now he's in Colton. He is now in the Colton area. So as you were saying, Chuck, this is an area he would have hit some heavier traffic. He's made it past that. The next major interchange would be the one with the 210 freeway. And we are starting to see a little bit more traffic now.
Yeah, he looks like he's picked up a little more speed, probably about 80 miles an hour, but still not doing any hazardous maneuvers, so they'll just continue to follow at a safe distance, and hopefully he'll change his mind and give up or run out of gas.
And it looks like the rest of the drivers on the freeway are doing what the CHP and law enforcement tells people to do. If you see a pursuit coming at you at a high rate of speed, lights and sirens going, to just stay in your lane, not to make any erratic moves. We've seen these cars just basically stay put, stay in their lane, and this driver's the one that's been getting around.
Right. Yeah, it's. I know they tell you in the training to pull to the right, but on a pursuit like this where he's coming up on you fast, yes, staying in your position is a good idea. Don't try to cut off the car. Don't try to help the CHP. Just let them go by.
Yeah, I've been in that situation where I've seen a car come very, very quickly up behind me, and I just stayed put because you don't know what they're going to do. And indeed, the car did get around, and we are seeing here this car going at a higher rate of speed. You're thinking about 80 miles an hour now, simply passing other cars on the freeway here on the 215 rather freeway, just past the 10 freeway. It's in the Colton area now. How much farther do you think before he hits the 215?
He's on the 215. He'll be hitting the 210 in about 2 miles.
And look at that. It looks like he's getting up. He's done this several times already. My guess is there may be a CHP officer waiting for him at the end of the off-ramp or something. He must have seen something, right?
Yeah, he may have seen something, or he thinks he's going to fool the guys that are following him, that they'll get in a position where they can't pull back out to follow him. But, yeah, I don't know what he has in his mind as far as faking the off-ramps. It's not doing any good.
Maybe he's trying to fake them out. Yeah, I did see once the chopper got past there, you were able to see the off-ramp, and it was just a little heavier traffic, so maybe he was afraid of getting caught in that. So how much farther do you think before he hits the 210?
It's probably about 1.5 miles or so.
A mile and a half.
Should be coming up Baseline and then or 5th Street and Baseline, and then the 210.
So we're talking San Bernardino now, aren't we?
Yes, yeah.
All right. And so CHP will continue to follow this. At some point, would it switch off to another agency of the CHP, another branch of the CHP?
Yeah, they actually switched off as they were northbound about the 10. They switched from Riverside to the inland area of the CHP. So it's a new set of CHP units following them now.
And these fresh eyes, these fresh officers definitely... do they make things better, you think, or just?
Yeah, it's a good idea to switch off. There is some fatigue involved. There's a heightened sense, and it's a little stressful to be chasing a car at 80 to 90 miles an hour, and you want units that are in the area that are familiar with the area. So you switch off to the guys that generally work that area.
Mm-hmm. And we're looking at that fake out right there on the right side of your screen. That was earlier. He did that a couple of times. Looked like he was getting off. And he continued staying on the freeway, which, of course, for the motoring public, that is definitely a better thing. People that are walking the streets, and we don't want to see this guy blowing through intersections and possibly hit pedestrians and other cars there. Now, Chuck, we always talk about the CHP being, the elite agency when it comes to pursuits on our highways and freeways here, but local agencies as well, Riverside PD, the different agencies, Anaheim PD, they all do receive pursuit training as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's it's very extensive, and they take a yearly exam to show that they're up with the new laws and up with the new procedures. But yeah, if it gets off the road or off the freeways into a jurisdiction, usually the local jurisdiction will take over again because they have radio communication. They know the area, and they may even know the suspect if he's going back to his home area.
And a lot of times, if somebody is one of those folks that have a lot of contact with law enforcement, it turns out officers may know who he is right away, right?
Right. And it looks like he's well up into the 215 toward the 15 now, up in the DeVore area.
Yeah, and we saw him do another fake out there. It looked like he was going to get off. He was on the right-hand lanes, and then he quickly maneuvered back onto the freeway. Can you tell us what goes into pursuit training at the local police department jurisdiction?
Well, they sure have the training during the basic academy, and then during the course of your career, they actually send you back through emergency vehicle operation, teach you how to do the pursuits without being hazardous, keep back, and then you go through the pursuit intervention technique, the pit training. You also go through the spike strips training, because there is a technique to throwing those out there safely. The biggest danger for the spike strips is the officers putting themselves out in front of the car.
Yeah, we've often seen that, and we saw it last week where the officer just threw the spike strips. He was using another car to kind of block his body from being hurt in case that car would have swerved, but man, that spike strip really did the job, and eventually the tire lost enough air that the pursuit came to an end. When we saw a tighter shot of the car, I don't know if you noticed, but it looked like the windows were starting to steam up or fog up. I don't know if that's my perspective from the studio here looking at the monitors, but it definitely looked like that's going on. I don't know.
Yeah, didn't notice that. But yeah, with the spike strips, I've seen them used many times, and they are very useful. Usually, if the guy's out far enough in front of the police cars, he'll jump out of the car and abandon the car, and then it's really easy to catch him on foot.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, that's definitely a great tool that they have at their disposal.
And the spike strip is basically some hollow nails, right, that are into some sort of like, it looks almost like a rolled up tire that you throw out, and then those nails get into the tire, is that right?
Exactly. It's a tube. It almost looks like a tube from a pen. And
right, yeah, like a ballpoint pen, the inside, right?
Yeah, it pokes into the tire and it lets the air out slowly, so you don't get a major blowout, and he's going to flip and cause more damage.
Mm-hmm. A big change, Chuck, that we're seeing now is he's on a 2-lane road. He doesn't have much option. There's that big rig he's passing right now, and the CHP right behind him. Is this a plus for CHP at this point, that things are, he's fewer and fewer choices here,
Yeah, hopefully it slows them down a little bit. This is still part of the 215 as it approaches the 15 freeway. So yeah, it narrows down up in that area.
Is it an upgrade as well? Could that slow him down?
Yeah, it'll slow him down going up the hill. I don't know how much this car will slow down, but
look at him here. He's swerving. I wonder if he's trying to get the people in front of him to move over, just acting a little erratic there. Did you see that?
Yes. Well, he does have the option of both the right-hand shoulder and the left-hand shoulder, so he doesn't mess up any of the cars in front of him. But this would be a better opportunity for the spike strips if they had it available and somebody ahead of them.
Mm-hmm. And there he gave up an opportunity to get off the freeway. He's still continuing to go. And still being pursued by the inland area CHP officers, and they're also starting to pick up a little speed there, so maybe they are going to take advantage of these more narrow roads here heading up the grade.
Yeah, and he appears to have slowed down quite a bit. It doesn't look like he's doing the 80 miles an hour as he was.
Mm-hmm. So in cases like this, it started in Anaheim, but could he be a Riverside or San Bernardino resident, and he's just heading back? I mean, if he's going to jail, I don't know why want to go back home, but any thoughts on that?
He may be. That's generally what we see is they head to an area they know. This guy, he may just want to be, setting a record as far as distance goes, and he'll just stay on the freeway and just keep on going.
And you see that chopper in the shot, Chuck? Do you know, is that the CHP chopper?
Yes, that's CHP.
Okay, and they're basically, whether or not the officers pull back, the ones that are in pursuit, the chopper would most likely continue following this driver, right?
Exactly. Yeah, they could go back as far as half mile behind him, and the helicopter will follow him until he stops, and then the units can close in and take him into custody.
Would the chopper be audible from that distance, from a half a mile, you think? Would this driver think, I got away with it, or? Yeah,
where he's sitting now, it's difficult for the driver to see the helicopter, but yeah, that would be a good choice or a good option for them to take. But right now, there's no traffic in front of them. It's just him and CHP, it looks like.
And the media choppers following along as well, which, of course, we chat with the CHP choppers and law enforcement up there. Everybody wants to keep their safe distance, and everybody wants to do their job. So everybody doing a good job up there right now. Can you give us an idea? I don't know if you can tell from this shot here, because the shot looks pretty similar to what we've seen the last few minutes, but where is he right now?
It looks like he should be closing in on the 15 here shortly. He's still on the 215, and then he'll have the option of going southbound on the 15 or northbound on the 15 up into Devore. And
Devore, if he continued on, I mean, would that be like can he go to Vegas? I mean, would that be that 15 freeway we're talking about?
Exactly. Yeah, he can continue up into Hesperia, Victorville. I'm not sure what's after that, but yeah, all the way to Vegas.
Yeah, all the way to Vegas. Well, I don't think he's going to get that far. Now we see a school bus, it looks like, in front of the Camry that's being pursued by the California Highway Patrol. Chuck, stay on the line with me for just a second. I just want to update our viewers if they've just tuned in and wondering what's going on. This is a California Highway Patrol pursuit of a possible stolen car. We're saying it's possibly a stolen car. Apparently, right around 12:10 this afternoon, about 42 minutes ago, A K-9 officer in Anaheim near Harbor in the 91 ran the plates of this Camry. It was a dark-colored Camry with very dark-tinted windows. They ran the plates, and it turns out the plate dinged back to these plates being stolen off another car. So they either came back as a lost or stolen. It looks like what's going on here? Okay, we're watching the pursuit continue to unfold. Anyways, the Anaheim PD gave chase, and this pursuit continued until it was handed over to the Orange County, California Highway Patrol. Eventually now the Inland Area California Highway Patrol, and it looks like we're hitting another interchange here. Chuck, if you're still on the phone, is this now the 15?
Yeah, it looks like he's committed to the northbound 15, so he'll be going up the grade.
Now, does this, again, change things? Would an agency change? He's got an opportunity there to get off on this off-ramp here, but it looks like he's going to continue going. And look at this, Chuck. I don't know if you see Sky 9 now showing us some cloudy conditions out there. Earlier, we were talking about this weather system in our area. Now, I wonder if that's going to hinder the California Highway Patrol and our choppers from continuing going northbound just for safety issues.
Yeah, earlier there was quite a bit of fog on the 15. It caused slow traffic, and there is still some clouds. I don't think it's down to the ground level, but it may hinder the helicopters. They've got to have some visibility going through the pass there. And
especially with the mountainous areas in the pass. And it looks like we're getting a further and farther shot there. You can see, again, the 15 north there. I think that was Rosewood Avenue. Was that right, that he just passed?
Kenwood, actually.
Oh, Kenwood Avenue. Okay, I couldn't tell from my monitor. So just passing there, the 15 in Kenwood. And we're starting to get a farther and farther shot, and that must be because he is getting into some more cloudy conditions. So at this point, my guess is, Chuck, that if the CHP chopper has to pull away, the ground units will continue following, right?
Right, yeah. The helicopter's probably not going to be able to make it through the pass because it does go up quite a bit. And if it gets up into the clouds, they've got to have clearance. Yeah,
we saw that happen a few weeks ago with a pursuit of a motorhome that went up into the Grapevine area, and all our choppers had to pull away, and the motorhome was eventually found a day or so later. So we are seeing a shot that's a little bit farther out, and that's because the chopper is now getting into some of that weather that our Amberly was telling us about. And you can see there's the upgrade, there's the pass right there. From this point on, Chuck, would this pursuit be handed over to yet another agency, or does Inland Area continue up to a certain point? How far will they go?
Yeah, I'm not sure how far inland continues. They'll probably go to the top of the hill at Bear Valley or one of the exits at Oak. I can't remember the name of the city, but they'll probably hands off to the Victorville units.
And at this point, look at that, our shot's even getting more and more foggy, and it looks like we're starting to get into some of that heavier cloud cover in the area there. And is it just the perspective, Chuck, or do you think he's slowing down a little bit?
It definitely looks like he's slowing down. He's going about what the automobiles are doing, but the truckers are a little bit slower. But yeah, he looks like he's slowed considerably. And
that's because of I guess my guess is the grade and who knows what else, right?
Right. Yeah, hopefully the car is not in great condition, and maybe he'll overheat or run out of gas.
Or run out of gas. Now, would this be a good opportunity for the pit at this point, or still not yet? There's too many other factors involved here.
Yeah, it's still the speed is a factor. I'm not sure what CHP's policy is as far as miles per hour, but it has to be at a safe speed. We don't want to kill the guy. We're just trying to stop him.
Absolutely not. And of course, it looks like we lost the shot there from Sky 9. So the conditions out there are pretty dangerous for the folks that fly in the chopper there. But again, a pursuit started in Anaheim. This was a car that was possibly stolen or reported stolen. All right, we just got the shot there back, and it looks like the skies may have cleared enough for the chopper to continue this pursuit. Passing now a Walmart big rig, and officers still not too far behind. It looks like he is slowing down a little bit now in the Cajon Pass. So from Anaheim into the inland area and now up into the Cajon Pass. giving us definitely cloudy, a little bit more traffic in this area. Now this driver turning things back around, heading south on the freeway here. We've had so many freeways, officer. Is this the 15 or the 215 he's on right now?
He's southbound on the 15, coming back down the Cajon Pass, and then the first option he'll have where he can take a different freeway would be either the 15, he can stay on it, or take the 215 again.
And again, we don't know where he's going to go. As you mentioned, this started in Anaheim and quickly went eastbound on the 91 freeway into Riverside, into the inland areas, and up into the Cajon Pass, and now the big turnaround. He's heading southbound on the 15 freeway. Officer, do you know whether or not anybody, CHP, Anaheim, anybody has had contact with his driver yet? Anybody on a cell phone, anything at all?
Not that I'm aware of. I have not heard that.
And we've been talking about the pit. We've been talking about the spike strips. At this point, I mean, he's going at a pretty brisk speed. Are any of those two things an option?
Not right now, because he's on the freeway and there's too many lanes and there's too much traffic. It would be hard to do either of those two maneuvers or tactics with too many people around. If we do get into a position where we can use the spike strip safely, we will do that, but unfortunately right now with too many lanes and too many vehicles, we're just unable to set that up safely right now. And
it seems like the spike strips work better when the car isn't going as fast, right?
Correct. We don't want the speeds to be too great because then it could cause a bad collision.
And what about for the pit maneuver? What are usually the circumstances that you need for like that perfect pit?
Freeway speeds are not what we're looking for the pit. Something that's slower, maybe on surface streets speeds.
So right now, officer, it's a matter of staying behind this guy and see what happens, right?
Yes, hopefully, he'll decide to pull over, or maybe his car will give out or run out of gas.
How often do these cars, officer, when you see a situation like this where a car gets stolen and then the suspect, whoever took it, does the license plate switch, how long does that usually last before somebody figures it out?
It varies. It could last one day or it could last a long time. It just all varies.
So now we're talking about several charges. Felony evading from officers. We're talking about a stolen car. And I'm guessing stealing somebody else's license plate also comes with additional charges, right?
Yes, everything will be taken into consideration, and he'll be charged appropriately for everything that's happened so far.
I was talking to some of the other officers and retired officers who've been gracious enough to follow this along with us. Have you ever had an opportunity to talk to some of these suspects and figure out why they don't stop, why they don't pull over, other than the obvious? Because we all know how these pursuits come to an end, and that's usually with someone in custody.
Again, it varies. It could be somebody that just, didn't have a driver's license, somebody that was scared, somebody that made an initial poor decision, and now they're running, and they're going to continue to run because of that initial poor decision.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it just varies from person to person and situation to situation.
And we still don't know, since there has been no contact with this driver, no idea as to, other than the obvious of being in a stolen car, as to why this driver is not pulling over. And I keep saying he because I'm assuming it is a he, but we have seen, of course, the tables turn on that as well, and we see a female driver as well. Officer, at what point do you think, does CHP just say, okay, let's let him go, we'll track him down later?
Well, from what I've seen so far, the pursuit hasn't been really reckless or wild. It hasn't put anybody in too much danger. So we'll continue to follow him closely, and if it does get too dangerous, then we have a helicopter in the air, and we could tail him a little bit further without the units being so close.
And my guess is, because of the plate switch, if you let him go, I mean, you'd have to wait for another ding coming back on that stolen plate, right? Because the plate is not going back to the location of this car.
To that vehicle, correct, yes.
All right, so we are seeing this pursuit continue to head down the freeway. He had an opportunity to switch, but I think he did stay on the 15. Is that right? Can you see the shot from where you are? I think this is still the 15, right?
To me, it looked like he took the 15 freeway from the split.
Right, so from the split, he's staying on the 15 freeway, and it looks there. Okay, I couldn't read it. It was a little blurry shot there, but he did had an opportunity to get off at one of the off ramps there. But he is continuing to go, and we are starting to see a little heavier traffic, but really nothing that would change things up at all. Right?
It looks like the speeds have picked up a little bit, and there is a little bit of weather in our area. So as long as the roads aren't too wet and the speeds don't pick up too much more, then we can continue to follow, safely, and hopefully the driver doesn't get any more reckless or erratic.
Yeah, we had some drizzle here in the San Fernando Valley this morning. How about out there? Did you guys see as well some slick roads as well, or?
Yes, all morning it's been a light mist, and the roads were a little bit wet, but nothing real bad.
Nothing real bad, and that's a good thing because the slick roads, especially we haven't had rain in a few weeks, that could pose yet another problem. Heading south now, still on the 15 freeway. Can you give us an idea once again what options he's going to be approaching in a few minutes here?
Right now he's southbound 15 and approaching Sierra, which is in the Fontana area. So he'll be coming up to the 210 freeway within the next 3 or 4 miles or so. So he can take the 210 freeway east or west. He can continue the 15 freeway, and within another 3 miles past the 210, you have the 10, and then shortly after that, the 60.
The 60,
so
yeah.
there's many options coming pretty soon.
And so far, is it still inland CHP handling this?
Yes, it went from originally started in the Corona area with our Riverside area, then San Bernardino. San Bernardino may still be in it, but now they're getting closer to our Rancho Cucamonga area, so they could be taking it over now shortly.
How big of an area does each unit, for lack of a better word, each unit of the CHP handle before it gets handed off to the next
Well,
group?
our Riverside area handles from the 91 freeway county line up to the county line on 215, which is around the Grand Terrace area. So San Bernardino probably took it over around the Grand Terrace area, and now went up Cajon, down Cajon, and now coming into our Rancho Cucamonga area. So Rancho should be handling it now.
Okay, so Rancho would be handling it now. We're starting to see some neighborhoods there just off the freeway, and as far as we know, this driver is going to stay on the 15 freeway, and we saw this earlier. The roads narrow just a little bit. I think we're down to 3 lanes here. Is that helpful at all, just to minimize his options?
Well, so far he's been driving okay and not too erratic, and the less traffic, the better, to avoid any type of collision. But for right now, he's driving okay and not putting anybody in danger. So
that's what we do, right? It's watch and wait and see whether he runs out of gas or blows a tire or who knows what, right?
Yes, and when we do get a chance, and it is safe and it's permittable, then we can try to put out the spike strip and see if we can get the tires deflated.
And again, I think the spike strips, we were talking about it earlier with Chuck Griffiths. He's a retired sergeant with the Riverside PD. The spike strip really is one of the more dangerous tactics, right, that you guys use because of the proximity that the officer has to get to the car to basically fling those out onto the road, right?
Yes, and that's what I mean. We have to set up safely. Conditions have to be ideal for something like that to happen, but if there's an area where we can get it done, we will try to get it done. And
because he's on the freeway, it's such an open area, if an officer was waiting to deploy the spike strips, it would give this driver enough time to move over several lanes and avoid them, right?
Yes, if the freeway's wide enough, then he can avoid it, and if he sees it soon enough, yes.
All right, so we're watching this pursuit. Stay there on the phone with this officer. I just wanted to re-summarize for our viewers here. We're watching a pursuit continuing to unfold now, going into exactly 1 hour. Exactly an hour ago, that a canine unit in Anaheim ran the plate of this dark-colored Camry with very dark tinted windows. Came back, the plates on this car were reported either lost or stolen from another car. So the assumption to have is that the car that these plates are on right now is stolen as well. Officers tried to basically pull this car over, and they would not have anything to do with that, and a pursuit then started. It started in the Anaheim area, went into Orange County, onto the 91 freeway, then into Riverside County, the Inland Empire, onto the 15 freeway, into the Cajon Pass, where this driver decided to get off the freeway finally. One of the few times he decided to get off the freeway after basically tricking officers a couple of times, making it look like he was going to get off, made a U-turn and started heading southbound back on the 15 freeway, and it looks like he's now in Rancho Cucamonga with CHP still behind in pursuit. And it looks like, Officer Llorena, that he is in an area now where the lanes have widened, but we are seeing maybe a little bit more traffic. We're seeing that big truck there that he's going by.
Yeah, now we're getting more into the city area. Before we were in the Cajon Pass, not too many homes around that area, but now Rancho Cucamonga is pretty populated, so there's going to be more vehicles and out on the freeways.
Is there an area that usually slows down a little bit? Earlier we were talking about the 10, the 210, just those interchanges. Traffic always slows down a little bit. Could he be coming up to one of these areas where it would be a good opportunity to slow him down?
Pretty free-flowing. If he does continue on the 15 South, he might get stuck a little bit in between the 10 freeway and the 60 freeway at around Jurupa. It seems to bottleneck there, but because of the time of day, the traffic is still light enough to where it may be open as well. And
we're almost at 1:15 in the afternoon now. When does traffic usually start to build up a little more in this area?
About 2:30 or 3 o'clock.
So in about an hour or so is when traffic would definitely make a bigger difference in this pursuit. It seems like even when he was in Anaheim all the way, this afternoon, he's had pretty light traffic conditions.
Yes, he's in between commute hours, so for him the roads are wide open. But as we get closer to the afternoon, commute time is where the traffic will get thicker, and there'll be a lot more vehicles out on the freeway commuting home.
So what to do at this point? It looks like he's going fast, but not making any dangerous moves right now. What's the plan usually in these situations?
We're continuing to follow him, and we actually do have officers that are in position that do have spike strips. So if we do get the opportunity, we will definitely use them.
And my guess is those spike strips would maybe be at off-ramps or areas that would be a little easier to deploy, right?
Yes, the conditions have to be ideal for us to be able to deploy them. So our main concern is the safety for the officers and the motoring public. So we have to do it in a location that's safe for everyone involved.
And I know the motoring public definitely appreciates that, especially when they see a car coming up behind him at a high rate of speed and CHP behind that car as well. That public safety is paramount for everybody there. What are the perfect conditions for the spike strip?
Well, right now he's in about 4 or 5 lanes of the freeway. Preferably, we'd like it to be, about 3 lanes. That way we can set up a spike strip across a limited amount of lanes as opposed to 4 or 5.
I know you have a little bit of a delay, but it looks like he got on a off-ramp there, and he's at that interchange.
It looks like a transition road. He looks like he's going eastbound 10. Yes, he's taking the eastbound 10 freeway towards San Bernardino.
So now he's on the eastbound 10, and again, the lanes are narrowing up a little bit, and hopefully the CHP... look, now we're actually seeing a first look at the driver there with his arm on the windowsill there of the driver's door. Window is down, and he is now on the 10 freeway, passing some big rigs there. There you see the driver for the first time. Both hands, it looks like, on the wheel. and it looks like he has no intention of slowing down. He is looking around, and it looked like he was using the side mirrors and the rearview mirror to get an idea of what's going on, and getting onto the shoulder, off the shoulder. So it looks like traffic may be a little heavier on the 10, officer.
It may be a little bit thicker because you have a lot of vehicles coming, just what he did, from the 15, either northbound or southbound, and then transitioning onto the 10 freeway.
And
so
now it looks like he is
right there at the Trans Road.
Yeah, and it looks like he's being a little bit more aggressive here, you know, making some quick lane changes, just trying to maneuver his way around this slower moving traffic.
Yes, I have it on right now, and it's a little bit of a delay, but I don't see too much reckless driving now. He is maneuvering in between the vehicles, but it's not too fast and too unsafe.
And here he's coming. I know you've got that little bit of a delay, but he is now hitting some heavier traffic. There's cars in the 1, 2, and 3 lanes, and he's in the number 2 lane, but he is able to continue going faster than them. So he is moving at a higher rate of speed than the regular traffic. With him being now on the 10 East, right? We were talking about 10 East. What would, in Ontario, what would be options coming up? Like, where would he be hitting?
Well, he's in the Fontana area right now.
Okay.
So it's going to be probably 10 miles or so before he gets to another transition road, and that would be the 215 freeway where he originally came up from the 91. So he can head back down the 215 south back towards through the Corona area and then back towards Anaheim if he stays on the 91.
So 10 miles is a pretty good stretch before any major interchanges. He could always get off on surface streets, right?
Yes, yes. And, you know, here at our dispatch center, we make the agencies aware that they may be getting off on surface streets. So we're going to give a heads up to Fontana PD, Rialto PD, Colton PD, and let them know that the pursuit is coming through the area. And if he does exit the freeway, for them to be ready.
And then they definitely will be at the ready. And, of course, that's a good thing for the public to know, too, if they do see police and officers off at off-ramps, what's going on, just to be on alert that this pursuit may be coming through your area now. And if he does get off on surface streets, the CHP does continue the pursuit, right? And then will local agencies jump in as well?
We will continue the pursuit until they're in position to take it over, and then we will turn it over to them.
Have you heard anything? I know you're there at the center there. Have you been hearing any radio traffic? Anything else you can help us add to this coverage?
I'm reading the log, and I'm trying to listen to it, but I'm also speaking to you guys, so I can't do everything at one time. But I just saw that he was passing in the center divider there, so it looks like he's starting to take a little bit more aggressive actions. Okay.
I'm going to give you a second to go ahead and read that log and listen in, and I'll go ahead and summarize once again for our viewers what's going on, if that's okay with you, Officer Urena. So go ahead and take a look at that log, and maybe we can find some interesting information in it. But again, this is a pursuit. It's a stolen, looks like a stolen Camry, a dark-colored Camry with dark-tinted windows. This is a pursuit that started near Harbor in the 91 freeway. Anaheim PD, a K-9 unit, basically ran the plate of this car as routine police work, and it came back as either a lost or stolen plate. And when officers tried to get this driver to pull over to talk to him to see what was going on, a pursuit ensued. It went at times 60, 70, even 80 miles an hour from Orange County into Riverside up to the Cajon Pass. And now we see this driver just a short time ago transitioned on the 10 freeway eastbound, now into the Fontana area, with CHP still in pursuit of this car. Still, we have not seen any opportunities for the spike strip, although they are considering it, or for the pit maneuver, again, as the CHP and retired Riverside police officers and everybody has been telling us the conditions need to be perfect for the pit maneuver and for the spike strips to work successfully, and also to keep the motoring public safe. Right now on the phone with us is Officer Marcelo Urena. He's with the CHP, been giving us some great information on this. Don't know if you had an opportunity to check that log, but anything interesting pop out to you?
I did look over it a little bit, and it looks like the speeds are starting to pick back up a little bit. And like I noticed before I went off the air here, he was passing in the center divider, so he may be taking some more chances now.
And those chances basically has to do a lot with just the traffic that he's encountering, because he really isn't. I mean, traffic got a little heavier, but still not that bad.
No, it's still in between commute times, but it is definitely getting a little bit thicker. I see more traffic on the freeways now, so it may be a little bit tougher for him to maneuver in between the vehicles.
Yeah, my guess is this is going to end like so many pursuits end, with somebody in custody, so hopefully no one will get hurt, and the driver of this car, whoever owns it, can get their car back and get back to life as they know it. But here we have the 10 freeway. We have a pursuit going on, and looks like the driver is going a little faster than regular traffic, but not that much faster, with the CHP still behind. Officer, my question is, usually how far back does the CHP stay behind a pursuit like this? We've seen different, lengths of distance. I'm just wondering, what the protocol is for that.
We want to be far enough behind him that if he does take evasive action, like braking or turning, that we'll be able to either stop or maneuver. Like earlier, he was trying to exit the freeway, and then at the last minute, he would come back onto the freeway. So we want to stay close enough to keep an eye on his movements inside the vehicle, but also far enough away to give us some time to make our decisions and take evasive action if we have to as well.
And I know the CHP changes jurisdiction as it goes into different areas. Does the chopper basically stay on top of it no matter what?
Yes, as long as it has fuel and as long as it can stay in the air. And if they do have, fuel concerns, then we'll get a neighboring agency helicopter up, and hopefully they can take it over while we go get more fuel, and then we'll be back up.
How long can a chopper usually stay up, do you know?
That I don't know.
Okay, so hopefully at this point the CHP chopper has enough fuel to continue following this pursuit. You've seen the CHP chopper, obviously you know what it looks like. Compared to a news chopper, we know those also have a limit to how far they can fly. Are the CHP choppers a little bigger? Maybe they have bigger fuel tanks, can go longer?
No, I don't know anything about the helicopters. I couldn't guess at that.
That's okay. I'm going to ask our Stu Mundell at some point when he gets on the line with us. He'll definitely will know what's going on here. All right, so we have a pursuit going on the 10 freeway right now. It continues at this hour. It's been going for a while there. And there you saw it just went under some railroad tracks. I know exactly where that section of freeway is there on the 10 freeway. Continuing going eastbound, is that right, officer?
Yes, eastbound.
Eastbound 10. So where would he eventually be hitting? I mean, continuing going eastbound, obviously he will hit Beaumont and
well,
can go.
The 215 is going to be coming up shortly in San Bernardino. So he was last in the Rialto Colton area, so he'll be coming up on the 215. If he does not transition onto the 215, then it's going to be a while before he can make any other decisions, because yes, he goes past that, and now you're talking San Bernardino, Yucaipa, Beaumont, and
Cabazon, Palm Springs, and on and on it would go, right?
Yes.
My goodness. All right, and we are seeing a little bit heavier traffic here, but not much to make a difference. This driver continues there in the number 2 lane on the 10 freeway eastbound. A little heavier traffic, but not that much. Big rigs and just regular cars on the freeway with him this morning. And you were telling us earlier, maybe in about an hour or so, that's when the afternoon drive starts, where we could see some heavier traffic, right?
Yes, around 2:30, 3 o'clock, the traffic seems to pick up more into the commute hour.
Does that change the tactic that CHP would use, knowing they are going to come across some heavier traffic?
If the driver becomes more erratic and he puts people into danger, then we definitely have to reevaluate our position and maybe back off, especially if we have a helicopter nearby. We'll just follow in the helicopter and keep our units close by until he does decide to pull over or stop, and then we'll be close enough to get into position with the vehicles and hopefully take the person into custody.
Looks like he just transitioned to the 215 freeway. We're going to see in a minute here, though, whether he's going to go north or south. And is that north, you guys? It is south. Okay, so 215 south, officer. I know you're on a bit of a delay. He's just passing a school bus now that moved on to the side there. 215 southbound.
Yes, so now he's taking the freeway that brought him out here. So the 215, he can take it back down to the 91, and the 91 will take him right back into the Corona, Anaheim area where this all started.
So this is a big circle, a big loop.
Yes.
To basically possibly head back into an area that he's familiar with, right?
Yes, which these suspects tend to do. We've seen it a number of times.
We sure have. And again, we don't know where this car was stolen from, but it appears it most likely is a stolen car. This was a car that was spotted in Anaheim, as Officer Urena was telling us. Harbor and 91 were told right around 12:10 this afternoon, so about an hour and 15 minutes ago. Canine units tried to pull over this car when they noticed that the license plate that was on the car came back to either a lost or stolen license plate. And this driver gave chase. Anaheim PD started chasing it down until they turned it over to the California Highway Patrol, and the California Highway Patrol still in pursuit of it right now. As we mentioned, 210 freeway southbound. Looks like he's moving
215 southbound.
215 southbound. Yeah, he looked like he was changing lanes rapidly, but he's still there now in the number 2 lane, right next to the HOV lane. How much farther do you think before he gets to the 91?
From the 10 to the 91, it may only be about 8 miles or so. So maybe another 5 more minutes.
Another 5 more minutes before he gets to the 91, and then from that point to Anaheim would be just if traffic stays at this rate, not too far of a drive, right?
If he's going at 80 to 90 miles an hour, it could be 20, 30 minutes, as long as the freeway stays light.
Right.
But the closer we get to the 2 o'clock hour is when we'll start seeing more traffic.
And you guys definitely know it best. The California Highway Patrol knows those traffic patterns here in Southern California. Sometimes many would believe they're super unpredictable. You never know when traffic's going to back up, but definitely you guys do know when things are going to start to slow down a little bit. And there is a little bit heavier traffic here on the freeway right now. So eventually he may be headed back into the 91 where he could either go east or west. Most likely, if this driver follows the patterns of so many other pursuit suspects, he may be heading back into the Anaheim area where officers first originally tried to get him to pull over. He had an opportunity there to get off the freeway, but he's staying on it. And you see there in the middle of your screen there, that's the California Highway Patrol chopper continuing to follow this pursuit unfold. And we are continuing to watch it here on KCAL 9 News. An extended version of KCAL 9 News at noon, now approaching the 1:30 hour here as we continue to monitor the pursuit and see what this driver is going to do. But so far, we've only seen a couple of fake outs where it looks like the driver is going to get off the freeway with the CHP just behind him, and then he moves right back into the freeway. So it looks like he is staying on freeways. He's not going to be hitting any surface streets right now. So right now, near Riverside, where this pursuit is continuing to unfold, and that was the
215 freeway.
215 freeway, right?
Yes, and now we're approaching the Riverside interchange, so he's going to have an option of taking the 215, the 91 freeway, the 60 freeway, or the 215 freeway.
The 91, the 60, or the
215 as well.
Right,
the
stay on it.
215 will continue. If he stays on that, it'll take him out to Moreno Valley. If he heads westbound on the 60, it'll put him through the Rubidoux area back towards the 15, and then the 91 will take him through Riverside, back to Corona, back to Anaheim.
Officer, it looks like he's getting off somewhere. Let's see now. Looks like he's on a surface street, but then again, it looks like he may be jumping back on the freeway. Let's see what he's going to do here in just a second.
Okay.
And I know you have that delay, so.
I see him exiting the freeway here, so
That's
this is
Columbia
an opportunity where if it's warranted, we can go ahead and use the pit.
Yeah, and it looks like, at least from our vantage point there, that he did not take any of those freeway options. It looks like he's on a surface street right now, and he is going at a pretty high rate of speed. So hopefully officers were ready to go. He blew through one intersection there, the first one that he's been able to blow through, crossed those double yellow lines, officer. He's now driving on oncoming traffic. Now he's crossed the double yellow line again. He's back onto the number 1 lane in a turn lane. Let's see what he's going to do there. Cars are moving away. He's blown through another intersection there. It looks like cars saw what was coming and they stopped. So far, no close calls, but he is on surface streets here near Riverside.
Yeah, he's going towards the river bottom on Columbia. Not many ways out of there.
So, very few options, huh?
Well, I did see that he was passing on the wrong side of the road, so he is taking some more aggressive actions. And again, it's up to the officer that's following and the supervisors involved to whether or not.
Here we go. We could see something going on here. Oh, they're trying the pit. Looks like they're going to try it again. Oh my goodness! I know you're on the delay. They've tried the pit maneuver twice. And he's now, looks like he's in a residential area, officer, so things, of course, a little bit more dangerous. But
yes,
he's on a straightaway now. There's looks like a UPS truck that he just narrowly missed.
Yes, I see him now moving up. They're getting into position. They actually did bump him twice and spun him a little bit, but it wasn't the full effect that we were looking for. But hopefully we'll get another opportunity here shortly, and we can end this.
I think so, and I hope so. And for those viewers who have stuck with us for this hour or so of coverage of this breaking news story, this pursuit, we hope to show them a successful end to this pursuit with a suspect in custody. It looks like that car that CHP unit that tried the pit just backed off a little bit. I don't know if you saw that.
It looks like from my vantage point now that they are giving him a little bit more space. And again, I'm not there. I don't know why. The officer may have seen something and decided to give him a little bit more space. But again, if they're going to get another opportunity and it's safe, we'll go ahead and try again.
Doing that pit maneuver really is about, everything needs to be perfect. Where you hit the car, the speed, the spin out, everything needs to be just right, huh?
Yes, it's more of a finesse move than it looks, so conditions definitely have to be ideal.
Yeah, I think when we see a successful pit maneuver happen, it's going to be a successful one. It just, the way that the car glides and spins around, it's almost like a perfect 180 that the car does.
Yes. And it disables the vehicle, and hopefully the person will stop and give up right there, and that's what we want. We want this to come to a conclusion and nobody get hurt, take the person in custody, and, over.
Does the pit maneuver disable the vehicle, or does it just stun the driver?
It can do both. It'll disable the vehicle, and it'll disorient the driver as well, too, because, he's driving and then all of a sudden he's spinning and going out of control.
Yeah. That would definitely stop me in a heartbeat. I don't know about anybody else, but definitely. He's still staying, officer, on surface streets, it looks like, blowing through some intersections. We're going to see what he's going to do now. I'm not sure if he's heading back towards a freeway on-ramp, because it seems like that's where he did.
And if he is blowing red lights at the intersections, then that would be a good reason for our unit to back away and give him some space.
He now made another turn, a busier intersection, but was able to make a successful right-hand turn.
3rd Market.
All right.
Now he's northbound on Market.
All right. I think somebody was just telling us there, northbound on Market. And he's in a residential area. He's blown through a stop sign there. Luckily, nobody was out, but it does look like a residential area. Now he's making a left-hand turn. And he's on one of those more narrow streets now, which hopefully would be a good opportunity for a pit, but it doesn't look like the officers are behind him right now.
Yes,
on
I've
Chestnut.
seen he's ran a couple of stop signs, and I don't see our unit close enough to try another pit, but I do see the helicopters following him, and it looks like they might be giving him just a little bit of space for now until he decides
And
to become
it looks
a
like
little
he's
bit.
stopping right now. He's backing up the car. Let's see what he's going to do here. Perhaps the road was blocked. He backed up, and then he just kept going now. A little slower, though, so who knows what's going on in this guy's head. All right, he just blew there through another stop sign. And now he's under a small canopy of trees there, but we can still see him through those trees. He's making a left-hand turn.
Hey, Juan, are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, this Chuck Griffiths. He's now southbound on, it's 3rd Street, and he'll be coming up to Mission Street here in a minute. He can go right into Rubidoux or left back into Riverside. And it looks like he's on 5th Street now, eastbound.
Gotcha. And that's Chuck Griffiths. He's a retired sergeant with the Riverside Police Department. Have you been on the phone with us all this time?
Yeah, I've been listening.
Oh,
to
my
you.
goodness. Well, thank you so much. And Officer Urena, you're still with us too, right?
Yes.
All
as
right.
well.
So 3 of us watching this here. Looks like the car is pulled over. Where is he, Chuck?
He's under the trees. I think he may have gotten out already. Yeah, I think he's not in the car any longer. Let's see.
So this could be a foot bail at this point, huh?
Yeah, he might still be in the car.
Yeah, I'm seeing some movement. It looks like
Unless that's just reflection on the windshield.
maybe a reflection. Yeah, let's see what happens here.
Yeah, they should widen. Yeah, there's something on the windshield, and it seems to be rolling a little bit. So let's see.
Interesting to see what he's doing. A lot of times these drivers will light up a cigarette, possibly their last one before being taken into custody. But it looks like right now he's not going anywhere.
He's actually on 4th east of Redwood, and I don't think he's still in the car.
Officer Urena, have you heard anything on the radio?
From the indications I'm getting, it looks like he's still in the vehicle.
Okay, he's still in the car. Yeah, and one of my producers saying it looks like he's lighting a cigarette inside the car. I'm starting to see. I saw a little hand movement there, so it looks like he's still in the car.
Yeah, I can see his blue shirt. He is facing eastbound on 4th Street, east of Redwood.
Would he
like
basically
we have
be just?
a unit coming up onto the vehicle now.
So there is a unit coming up. So basically, it looks like. Oh no! Now he's going to keep going. Let's see what he does.
Yeah, I think he probably thought he beat the helicopter and hit under the trees, but obviously not.
Oh, that's possibly what he did. Just pull over and blend in.
Okay, now it looks like he's moving again.
Yeah,
it looks like
the vehicle is
RPD
going.
Be taken over. Riverside PD is taking over.
So Riverside PD. So that means CHP gives it up for now since he's on surface streets?
Yes.
Interesting. Well, we'll see what's going to happen. He did look like he was going to, I thought he was going to give up at this point, just tired of running, but I think you were right that he was just hiding under the canopy of trees thinking he may have given the CHP the slip, but it looks like officers are still behind him. He's still on surface streets. He's about to approach another intersection there in just a sec.
Yeah, he's going west on Mission.
Yep, and he just blew through that, so.
Yeah, he's going to go into the county area now, the Rubidoux or Jurupa Valley area.
And luckily, so far this afternoon, we haven't seen any collisions, any side swipes, any pedestrians in any danger, and let's hope that stays that way.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully he can do his Superman tricks and not hurt anybody.
Right, and that's what we're all hoping at this point. And I wonder where is he going now, Chuck? You're familiar with this area.
He's
Where is this?
west on Mission Boulevard, going into Rubidoux, just over the Santa Ana River bottom.
Would that be Rubidoux, like a town center proper, or would that be more just residential?
Yeah, it's commercial along Mission Boulevard, but there's a lot of residential areas to either side. I think they don't call it Rubidoux anymore. They changed it to Jurupa Valley. So.
Got it. Yeah, and we're seeing now from the Sky 9 shot, you can see it's a commercial area as well as a residential area. And once again, right through that intersection, no problem. This driver's been very lucky, so And so is the motoring public.
Because the area he came out of off of Columbia is kind of hard to get out of. It's a kind of a boxed-in neighborhood, and then again by Mount Rubidoux, it's kind of boxed in. You have to know where you're going. Next cross street is Rubidoux Boulevard, and that's what he's crossing right now. This will go up into Harupa Valley. He can get back on the freeway at Valley Way, or he can continue west, eventually going into the Chino area.
This is quite a distance from Anaheim, isn't it? From Anaheim into Chino? That's quite a distance.
Definitely. We've got quite a tour of it, tour of the counties here this afternoon.
Yeah.
But obviously it's showing everybody what time of day to drive the freeways, because they sure weren't crowded at all for him.
Nope, and here he is starting to hit, oh look, there's pedestrians crossing the street, traffic slowing down. He was able to make it through this intersection, no problem. Officer Uren, are you still with us too?
Yes, I am.
So, if Riverside PD is now, you know, in charge of this pursuit, does CHP still stay on standby just in case it jumps back onto freeways, or what happens?
We'll keep monitoring the pursuit and listening for his locations. And if it gets close to a freeway, we'll be in position if he does decide to get back on the freeway, and then we'll start following from there.
Gotcha. And here he is going, crosses the double yellow line to get around a car, and he's back into some lanes of traffic. Officer Uren, if you don't mind staying on the phone with us, I'm going to keep talking here with Chuck Griffiths, retired sergeant with Riverside PD, very familiar with these streets here. And it looks, Chuck, like he is now making a left-hand turn into a neighborhood.
Yeah, he's up off of Riverview, northbound from Mission, and I'm not sure the streets over here, but there's really no quick way out of this neighborhood.
Right.
It actually goes up into the hills, and I think there's one road that will take them west, but the rest of them are pretty much locked in.
If they were ready, the spike strips would have been perfect here, but again, he's been a little unpredictable as to where he's going to go. Let's see what he does now.
Yeah, I don't see the Riverside Police Unit. Looks like he may be.
He's probably trying to get out of this neighborhood. He probably figured out what you just said, Chuck, that there's no...
hopefully he doesn't go head-on with a police car here.
Let's hope not. He's going to make, it looks like that right turn down that same street that he came up on just a moment ago. Let's see what he does.
Doesn't look like anybody's chasing him right now. I think the Riverside helicopter was over him, but yeah, he's on Canal Street.
Yeah, you can see the street sign right there, Canal Street. And for the most part, Chuck, are this all residential for the most part? In this?
Yeah, this back in here is residential,
okay.
Against the hills.
And it's a good thing nobody's out right now, just because the situation can get dangerous. You don't know what this driver's going to do, if he's armed or not armed, or.
Yeah, and this time of day, you got to take into consideration that schools are going to be letting out here shortly,
right.
So you don't want to be chasing them around on residential streets.
Are there nearby schools, Chuck, in that area? That you know of?
I know Rubidoux High School is west of here.
My guess is he's thinking they're not chasing him anymore, because I don't even see a unit in our shot right now.
Yeah, they must have called him back. I don't know if they offered it up to Riverside Sheriffs, but I think they have a more strict pursuit policy.
I think he's as confused as we are as to what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody giving chase right now. He's, I guess he's just waiting to see what's going to happen next, as we are.
Should definitely be a good time to swoop in on him and box him in.
They could box him in, because we saw that was just basically a street that, like you said, not a lot of options.
Right.
All right, so we're watching this driver who's been leading police, CHP, and sheriffs on a pursuit all afternoon long. Started around 12:10 this afternoon in the Anaheim area, Harbor in the 91. The plates on this Camry with dark tinted windows came back as either lost or stolen. They tried to pull this driver over. He would not pull over and started to give chase, and behind him was Anaheim PD, eventually handing it over to the California Highway Patrol. They were on it for quite a while, this pursuit on the 91 freeway up towards the pass there, the Cajon Pass, and now back into the Riverside area, where we're now watching this driver, after waiting for a few minutes there at that intersection off Canal Street, decided to keep on going.
Yeah, he's back on Riverview towards Mission. The only on-ramps, again, are at Rubidoux Boulevard and, again, over at Valley, which would be west of him. I don't know if you noticed earlier when he was going up the pass, he was throwing things out of the window.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hopefully they were able to collect those.
If they saw it, definitely they were able to collect those. And a lot of times, Chuck, those things are used as ways to, they think, the driver to distract the officers giving chase, right?
Yeah.
You're going to slow down and pick up the money or pick up whatever he threw out of the car and forget about him, but that usually doesn't work.
Yeah, that's why we have more than one unit chasing him. One can stay with the chase, and another one can slow down and pick up whatever he threw out.
Looks like he's hitting a little heavier traffic, but nothing that much. Not a big difference.
Yeah, again, this is Mission Boulevard westbound towards Harupa. I'm sorry, towards Valley.
Is he heading back into the area that he was in earlier? It sounds like it, right?
No, he's going west away from the city. So,
Chuck, we're now showing on our right-hand side of the screen there. We were able to circle it in red. It looked like he did throw something out of the passenger side window. It looks like some papers.
Oh yeah.
Or something. So you're absolutely right. You spotted that, and there it is on the right-hand side of the screen. Could be drugs, could be money, could be anything that he doesn't want more charges tacked on to what already is going to be on his rap sheet.
Right.
All right, it looks like he's going to get close to some a railroad crossing there. And
yeah, that'll be Valley Drive. If he takes the next right, he'll get back on the freeway.
Okay, and that means CHP would be at the ready, but he didn't take that right-hand turn, so still on surface streets, right, Chuck?
Yes, and he's continuing west on Mission. Should be coming right in front of the Riverside Sheriff's Office here pretty soon.
I wonder where officers are at this point.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I don't know if your helicopter guys have been listening to the scanner at all, but looks like they've all backed off from him.
Okay, so maybe they're giving him some space and leaving the CHP chopper up above to follow this. And we just saw this driver go pass by a school bus. So you were mentioning earlier the schools in the area. We're getting close to dismissal time, so hopefully this is not pose a problem or a danger. This driver now had to come to a stop. You see those traffic making a left-hand turn there right in front of the traffic, and very large big rig also about to, looks like, make a left-hand turn. Yep, there he goes.
It's good to see that he's calmed down a bit and he's not driving crazy.
Right.
It seemed like he's trying to get away now. Is that a police unit across the
interstate? It looks like, right across the street there. It looks like there's a police unit, so... Are we going to see a game of chicken here at some point? Let's see what's going to happen. Is he going to try to cut him off?
Right, he can get back on the freeway, but we'll see what the sheriff does here.
Yep. Kept going.
He may not even be aware of it.
And there he goes.
Yeah, looks like we're going to... Okay, he took it around. He'll go up, I think, Pedley or one of those streets is one of the next... majors, but this is the Pedley area of Riverside County.
And, oh, my goodness. Wow, that was close.
Yeah.
In our live shot, there was a
that was
car that narrowly missed him, so it was very fortunate. And again, looks like he's in a residential area. On the right side of your screen, we're showing viewers that those two pit maneuvers that they attempted, but the driver was able to keep going. The pit not strong enough to turn this car around 180 degrees. He fishtailed a little bit, but kept on going. So here we have now a live view from Sky 9. Pursuit continuing in the Harupa Valley area. This is Riverside. On the phone with us, we've had retired Sergeant Chuck Griffiths from Riverside PD and also CHP Officer Marcelo Llerena, giving us some play-by-play and also some expertise as to what exactly goes on during a pursuit here. And we've been following this now for about an hour, almost an hour and a half now, since this first got started. In the city of Anaheim, we have a driver in a possibly stolen black Camry with dark tinted windows. We just now lost the shot there from Sky 9, but as soon as we reestablish, we'll bring it right to you. And hopefully we're getting to that point in the pursuit where this pursuit is going to come to an end, where either the car runs out of gas, the driver gets tired, or the pursuing officers have that opportunity to do a successful pit maneuver or deploy the spike strips, but we did not see that. Chuck, we've reestablished our shot now with Sky 9. He's approaching a pretty busy intersection there, and he's blowing right through it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what intersection that is. He is past Pyrite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like it was like there's a mall under construction, and also some residential areas as well. So at this point, it looks like some of those pursuing officers have backed off. Perhaps right now the CHP just watching him from the air. A short time ago, we showed you he was in a neighborhood off Canal Street there in Riverside, and he was just waiting to see what was going to happen. He was pulled over, not going anywhere. At one point, he was also under a canopy of trees, thinking perhaps that he was able to evade police. We saw him, it looks like, light a cigarette up in the driver's seat of that car, of that Camry that came back either lost or stolen with those plates. So once we reestablish our shot there with Sky 9, we'll bring it to you. But it looks like he's in an area that's of mixed use, some residential, some commercial area as well. And officers still know where he is, but perhaps they're not being as aggressive right now. Chuck, is there a reason for that? Are they hoping that he's just going to let his guard down?
Well, I'm hoping it's not a miscommunication between the agencies, one thinking the other's in pursuit. But, yeah, they may have backed off to get him to slow down because he's on a residential or more cross-traffic area.
While we reestablish our shot with Sky 9, we're showing our viewers again those two, I don't want to call them failed pit maneuvers, but they just didn't do the job that they were supposed to do. Again, as we know, the conditions need to be perfect for that pit maneuver to happen. That will help to disable the car, to distract the driver and disorient the driver, but he